we got another one. Ooh, I like the new art of their new postcard thing. Very nice, very cute. I didn't get like a huge amount of stuff this time. Mostly refills. I needed some remover for my Jello peel off. Also was out of the clean gel I used to clean all my brushes. So we got that. And as with every order, pretty much, my holy grails, we got some more Jinbei Crazy Top. We got the standard. And of course we got the soft. You gotta get the two, right? These are packaged pretty well. But the pièce de résistance, the one thing I've been really waiting to get. The DVOK Cherry Blossom set. So excited. Let's crack it open. So I'd been like waiting to buy this for like a year since I saw it, and every time I would have money to purchase this collection, which is not the cheapest of collections, it would be sold out, which I think really speaks to how popular it is. But finally, like literally, when I bought it, it was like 2 left in stock, and then as soon as I bought it, it was out of stock. So good luck. Hopefully, if you like it, you can get it on a time when it's existing. The packaging, beautiful. This is my first DVOK collection that I've seen. It's a very nice little card here. Pretty sort of standard swatch card situation. And oh, the bottles are packaged super nicely in here. Each of them like a little tough to get out, which is actually good, so that they're not, you know, being broken in transit or whatever. As always, the DVOK bottles, very beautiful. And let's get into doing some swatches. I got some little glass swatch gems here. And let's get into it. I figured this was like the perfect time to get this collection because it is like spring has finally sprung here in Canada where I'm at. It's finally sunny-ish and warm-ish. So I think listen, I can't ever say for sure, but I'm pretty sure winter might be over. The first one we're going to be doing is the DMO5. This is the one magnet gel that comes with this. It's like a very nice sheer cool toned pink. Here's the first swatch, and these all self-level so nicely. So here's the first layer. You can see the magnet, pretty responsive. I wasn't going for any particular look, just sort of magnetizing it. And here is the second coat. I'm just going to demagnetize that, just sort of like a jelly color. Next up, we've got the DS16. Now, this is a pink syrup. It's a very sort of like nude pink, very versatile, I would say. I think it would work on a lot of different skin tones. Goes on nice and smooth. Here is the second coat. This has very like buildable coverage, as you can see. It's like building up quite nicely in 2 coats for a nice sort of like syrupy look to it. And that's that. Very, look at, oh, beautiful. Next up, there is this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous green color, DS17. It's another syrup gel. I think this would be super great to use for like, I see that like matcha nails are really in, like strawberry matcha latte nails for some reason. And this is, I think, would be the perfect color for that. The first layer does seem pretty sheer, but in person, like not on camera, it is a lot more vibrant than it's looking on this camera. Like you can sort of see with the second coat. Very gorgeous. Self levels out so nicely. Next we have a cream, the DP05. This is another sort of like pink toned beige, I would say. Goes on very smoothly. I think you could probably get away with 1 coat coverage for most applications that you're using this for as like a base. But for the swatch, I will be doing 2 coats as per the swatching usual. Gorgeous. And the second coat, as you can see, like the second coat's not really adding much. So I think 1 coat you could probably be good. But the texture is very smooth, very creamy, and it does self-level really nicely. Next up, we're going into the glitters. So we got DG23. This is sort of like the glitters sort of like go up in intensity. So this is sort of the most sparsely glittered one. It's very, of course I'm off screen. Classic filming. I'll get it one day, I promise. Let's go for the second coat. As you can see, there's like tiny little petals in it as well, which is like where the cherry blossom vibe is, because this collection's supposed to like emulate the different stages of a cherry blossom tree, like blossoming. Very pretty. The next one is DG24, which is very similar to this one, but like more densely packed and a bit more like gold tone iridescent. But it's sort of the same idea. It has a few of the little petals in it. Gorgeous. I'm going up for the second coat. Oh, beautiful. And the glitter doesn't go on too thickly. Like it's a very nice viscosity for glitter. Next, we got the DG25. This is sort of like a very gold tony, like very densely packed glitter. Lots of super, you know, reflective bits. Look at that. As you can see, it's like it has a lot more sort of a reflective vibe than the previous two. And it's a bit on the thicker side than the other two were a bit more of like a thinner viscosity. This one's a bit thicker. Still very nice glitter. And finally, the last one in this collection is the DG26, which is this like coral pink toned, very subtle glitter syrup. It's gorgeous. I can see this being a very well-loved glitter. Especially for like people who want more of like a subtle look to their nails, who aren't quite as out there as I tend to be with my nails. Now this collection, I will say, is like very specific use case. It's not like one of those useful for all situations collections. I'm putting them in on a different order than I did the swatching because I'm following the order that's on the swatching card. But like this one is a collection that was a very specific vibe to it, right? Like it was to a very spring-based, like this is to emulate the vibe of a cherry blossom tree's life. And so in that case, like if you're looking to see like, oh, should I add this to my, nail gel collection? It really depends on if it's something that you think you would use a lot, but in my case, it definitely is something that I would use a lot. And I try to avoid adding things to my nail room that I'm not going to use that often, but look at it. It's so gorgeous. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I am going to make a set of nails primarily with this, and we're going to use some other supplies. We got, of course, the Crazy Top Soft. We got the Mei Chow blooming gel. We got some matte top coat, because I'm going to be doing some isolated chrome with some gold chrome. And the more multi-liner in white. And then some Neko gel, sort of matching pinks for making some charms, which will come up a little later in the video. And I'm also going to be using this gold wire. It's 0.4 millimeters, really easy to use. And then some gold caviar beads. And that's what we're going to be getting up to today. And I'm going to be using, some 3D, just some clear 3D nonstick gel. That's for making some charms later. It'll make sense. So let's make some nails with this collection. So I'm making these coffin nails, and these nails I'm making are actually for a barista. So every weekend, my husband and I go to the same cafe, and the same barista pretty much works there every weekend. And we've been going there for 5 years, I think now. It's just like a little independently owned cafe in our neighborhood. And this barista is so sweet. And she always is like, show me your nails. I need to see your nails. And so I wanted to make her a set of nails because she always wears nails herself as well. So it's not like it's out of left field, someone who doesn't wear nails. So I've just done the usual prep, which is, getting the nubs off and then doing the buffing and now cutting with alcohol. So we're all ready to go. And we are going to start. We're going to do 2 different types of nails for this. So we're starting with the cream color, and we're going to be doing a cream base on the pinky, the ring finger, and the index finger. No, pinky, middle index, pinky, middle index. It goes on so nice and smooth. We're going to be doing 1 coat of this one for the first nail design. And then, as you can see, we're putting that in for a cure. It's such a nice base color. So next we're going in with some blooming gel. We're going to put the blooming gel on, and then we're going to be pulling out the coral glitter one. So the DG26, because we're going to be doing like an aura nail with this one. And I was worried that like the syrup consistency might be too thick for the aura, but it actually worked really well with the blooming gel. You just put it down, and then you just wait for it to bloom. I like to turn mine upside down so they don't collect towards the edges of the nails, but more towards the center, reinforcing the apex, and then just giving it a flash cure while you do the rest of the nails to stop it from continuing to spread. And it does a nice, subtle, glittery aura. And I did that on all 3 of the nails, and we're going to stick that in for a cure. So next up, we're doing a little bit of a glitter overlay. We're using the DG24. I tried to use as many things in the collection as I could for this design so that we could really show off most of it. We're just doing a nice subtle little glitter overlay. I think it turned out really nicely. I was sort of struggling with where to put the little petal bits. I wanted them more towards the middle. And then once you got that on there, we are going to put that in for another full cure. And since we want to do a little bit of chrome isolation, we're going in with the matte top coat. Normally this works great for me, but I do struggle a teensy bit with this later on, as you will see. But the nice thing about adding like a matte top coat is that it really like evens out, especially over glitter. It evens things out. And I find this one doesn't get too cloudy. Some of them can. So we're going to do some chrome isolation. So I'm wiping off the nails first to make sure that there's nothing that'll inhibit the chrome from either sticking where it shouldn't be or not sticking where it should. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of the Crazy Top Soft and some of the more multi-liner, and we're just going to mix them together. So the more multi-liner will chrome on its own, but I do find it to be a little bit thick for a lot of like smoother applications. So if you mix it in with a little bit of non-wipe top coat, which is what the Jinbei Crazy Top Soft is, it'll smooth it out and you can still chrome on top of it. And you can do sort of like thinner, less textured applications. I didn't want it to be particularly textured, so this worked out. This was a good option for this. And then we're just gonna do like a French line, like a smile line. Not a full French, just the line. On all three of these nails. So since I didn't know her sizes, I did end up making 24 nails. So I made like one nail in each design for each size of the nail, except for like the smallest 3 sizes for the pinkies. You'll see why like the charms that I made are a little bit too big for pinky nails, so they all just got the one design. So there were extra pinkies in this design, which is like the more basic design. And so I made 12 plus the extra pinkies of this design, and then I think it was 9 of the second design that's coming up. So it's a lot easier if you know people's nail sizes, because you don't have to make quite as many nails if you're making them a set. But, you know, I wanted it to be a surprise, so I couldn't just be like, hey, what are your nail sizes? I made these nails for this barista in my neighborhood. So we're going to put those in for 30 seconds. And then we're going in with this chrome powder. I've had this for years. I have no idea where I bought it, but its label says it is bright gold. So that is the label on this chrome powder, this mysterious unbranded chrome powder. And we're going to just chrome up the smile lines. And the more multi-liner mixed with the Crazy Top, it chromes up so nicely. Like, no problems with it whatsoever. It burnishes in beautifully. And I just tend to like dip directly from the lid rather than the main pot, because you don't need a huge amount of chrome on your sponge. And I have all my chromes in little boxes with their own individual sponges, so I don't have to worry about that. And then you brush off the excess chrome with a clean sponge. And then if there's any little bits that did stick, as you're seeing here, I'm just taking a little micro Q-tip, dipping it in alcohol, and sort of scritching it away. If it's in a place that's nowhere near, like you don't have to be too detailed, you can just use a regular Q-tip, but since it was so close to the line in a lot of places, I didn't want to accidentally wipe away the smile line. And then finally, the final step for these nails is I'm going to use some Ivy Fix gel, which is a rhinestone gel, and these gold caviar beads. And I'm adding like a little trio of caviar beads on top of the smile line for each nail, just to add a little bit of visual interest. So I'm just dipping it in. Putting it right where I want to put the little caviar beads. And then I'm sticking them on. I want to put 3 of them on there. Putting them in a little trio. And then you can flash cure them so they don't move while you put the rest of them on. Easy peasy. Once you got that, put them in for a full cure, and these nails are done until it's time to top coat. So we're going to work on the other nails, which will be a little bit more complex. I'm going in with the DVOK DS16, which is the sort of pink syrup. And we're going to be doing like an ombre nail, but I decided to do it in two parts, which I thought worked really well for these specific products. So I'm putting the gel on half of the nail, and then I'm taking an ombre brush and ombreing it. Well, first I noticed I put it on sort of dumbly, putting it back towards the center and then ombreing it up sort of 2/3 up the nail. Then moving things into place, turning it upside down so that it self-levels towards the center of the nail. And then flash curing while I do the other one. I'm doing the exact same thing on both the nails. And then once you've got that flash cured into place, you can stick it into the lamp for a full cure. Now, because it is a syrup gel and I like it to be a little bit more opaque than that, we are going in for a second go, doing the exact same thing. And then ombreing it up towards the top of the nail again. Make sure to clean off your brush between doing this. I usually keep like a little piece of lint-free wipe covered in alcohol to just sort of like wipe it off, but keep the bristles from being too dry. And then once you've got both of those ombres, stick it under the lamp again for a full cure. Next, we're going in with that beautiful green, the DS17. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. And we're going to be doing the top nail, the top of the nail down, using the exact same technique in reverse. We're just going to be ombreing it down over the pink. And as you can see, like just from here, like this would be such a good like combo for those strawberry matcha latte nails that I've been seeing everywhere that I mentioned before. So these would, even if you just bought these two individually, if that's all you wanted to make them for, like these are the gel, the consistency of the gel is incredible, and it worked really well for this ombre application that I'm doing. So once you've got that all nicely ombreed, you are going to stick her into the lamp for a full cure. And then we're going to do it again because I like it to be a little less sheer than that. I want the green to pop a little bit more. But if you want it to be more subtle and like more translucent, one layer would work perfectly fine. And we're just going to ombre it down. Move a little bit towards the top because I saw it was sort of moving away from the top a little bit. And then once you're happy with how these two look, I like to turn them upside down so as, self-level towards the center. And then you're going to stick them in to cure. Next, I wanted to do a little bit of a glitter ombre over just the pink bit. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing, but just one layer of this where we put a little bit of the glitter down. And then we're just going to ombre it up slightly over the green. Because, like, if you've got a bunch of glitters, you might as well use them. Once you got that looking good, stick it in for a full cure. And then, as with the other one, since I am going to be doing some more isolated chrome, I am doing a matte top coat to both even out the surface and also prep it for chrome applications. I really need to get some, like, chrome specific. Like, this does work pretty well, but it doesn't always do it perfectly. And I would like one that just does it, perfectly every time. I also sort of use it to, if there's any like, dips or anything, sort of as a, not quite a builder gel, but, just to even it out if there's a few places that need it. Once you got that all going, stick her under the lamp for a full cure. And we are ready for some more isolated chrome situation. We're wiping it down with alcohol, and we've got the same mixture of the more liner gel and the Jinbei Crazy Top again. Now, I decided that I really wanted to draw little ovals, and if you've watched other videos of mine where I attempt to draw circular objects, I'm like so terrible at getting these like circles and ovals and crescents to make any sense. They always end up looking vaguely pointy and egg-shaped. But, you know, as a wise philosopher once said,
dude, sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something.
So I just wiped off that hot mess and went in for a slightly like different technique. So I'm doing the 4 dots as before to like map out where the top and sides of it are. But then I realized if I actually just take it and sort of make a little mini arc on them, it's easier to connect them without that little pointy vibe, that the little egg shape that I'm trying to avoid, rather than the dot. So this actually really worked out a lot better. It's still not like the best looking oval you've ever seen, but I really think that I had like a breakthrough in how to paint ovals. I keep trying with the ovals, man, and the circles. I'm gonna get it one of these days. I'm just gonna like bust out the world's most perfect circle and everyone will be, you know, everyone clapped. That's that sort of energy. But we're gonna be doing that. I did get a lot of practice in doing like 10 of these nails. So, you know, there is that. I'm better than I was before I made this set of nails. And that's really all that matters. Once you've got the oval looking acceptable, I will tell you, the gold chroming really hides many a sin in irregular oval drawing. Once you've got them good, stick them under the lamp for 30 seconds. And then we're going back in with the bright gold chrome powder, the unbranded bright gold chrome powder that I think looks really nice, to be honest. And we're chroming them up. There's a little weird irregularity there, but as with always, you can just take a little micro Q-tip and some alcohol and wipe away any situations that occur. Now, a few years ago, a YouTuber by the name of Dreamy Little Nails made this sort of nail thing popular, and it was making these cherry blossom things. So I'm using an old crappy brush that I've marked off a thicker part and a thinner part to make 2 different sizes of charms. Now, she probably explains it a lot better, but here's how I did it. So using this copper colored copper wire and a pair of needle nose pliers, I put it between these 2 lines that I made so that they would all be of about equal size, and you just bend it around this and then I found it easier to take the pliers and twist it than using my fingers, because it really sort of starts digging into your fingers after a while. So you just keep twisting it until it forms like a nice little circle. Whoop. My focus is struggling with knowing what to look at. And then when you're done, you have this beautiful little circle. That's step 1. Next, I'm going to take some pliers and you're going to tug on it so that it forms more of like an oval. And then you're going to take it and bend from one side and then readjust everything. And then you're going to bend it from the other side, because you're making sort of like a heart petal shape situation. So that's one side, and then you're going to take it and bend it the other way, and it forms like this little heart shape. And then I sort of bent them slightly so that the petals would fall downwards on the nail. And that is how we're going to bend those. Again, you just sort of take it and you go boop, bend it that way, and then take it a little ways away and boop in the opposite direction, little heart petal shape, and then curve it so it's just slightly curved. And that is step 1. So the next thing I did for these charms is I took the Crazy Top Soft. I tried it with a bunch of my gels and I found the soft worked best for this. And then you pick up the little petal and you just like drag it through the gel. Because you want it to be fully covered. Sort of like you're using it as like bubble liquid, and this is the bubble wand. And you can even drag off any excess. And if it sort of the bubble like pops sort of, you can just put it right back in. And then when it's looking good, you want to flash cure it immediately before it starts to pool or drip or anything. I think in the original tutorial, she just used actual gel, but I found this a little, like, you know, the color, but I found this a little easier personally. And that's what that looks like. So next up, I wanted to do sort of like an ombre color. So I was making these before I even got the collection. So I'm using these 3 Neko Gel colors, 8, 10, and 11. Or 8, 11, and 12. 8, 11, and 12. And so I'm going from lightest at like the widest part at the top to darkest near the bottom to sort of show like a, you know, like a grade, like, you know, because flowers have, they're not all just one color. They have like the petals have a gradation to them. So we're putting a little bit in the middle. And then a little dot at the bottom point. And then I'm just going to take a liner brush and sort of like make sure that the ombre is a little smooth, just sort of move things around till it looks good. And since these are magnet gels, and who doesn't love a good magnet gel moment, I'm just going to activate the magnets into, yeah, looking, ooh, gorgeous. And then flash cure it into place. And then you have to do that with every single petal, 5 petals to a flower charm. Beautiful. So once you've got your 5 petals, you got to take some nippers. I use these little wire cutter nippers and cut off the excess wire carefully. You don't want to cut too high. And it'll look like that. And then you want to do it with all 5 of the little petals. Now you can apply them directly to the nail, but I was making them ahead of time. So what I did is I took this little glass swatch stick and some clear non-stick 3D gel. I'm taking like a little circle of it and sticking it on the glass swatch stick because it'll pop off. It pops off the swatch stick so easily. Like it'll barely stick on it when you're doing it. And stick it on as best you can. And then you're going to stick each of the little petals into a flower shape. You want the petals to like kind of overlap a little because that's how flowers look. Once you've got it in there, make sure all the petals are the way that you like them. Push them into place. Once they look nice, stick it in for a full 60-second cure. The nice part about the glass swatch stick is that the light will go through it for the bottom too. So I did end up using, for the final charms, I didn't go with these little pearlescent bits. I used cold caviar beads in the final one, but I didn't film that. So I ended up using these ones with the pearlescent little beads on my own nails later on the next week. And then cure those once you've got just the little middle bits. You can use pearls, you can use whatever you want for the little middle bit. And that's the charm. Isn't it cute? Tedious, but adorable. So, next we are going in to apply these to the nails. So, where you just dip it in the IV Fix gel. Take away the cat hair that inevitably in my house with my long-haired cat gets into everything. And then I am sticking it right on top of the gold line. Move it into place. And then we are going to put a couple caviar beads like opposite it to add sort of a tie it in with the other nail design with the little caviar beads. And then here's where I'm adding the gold caviar beads to the center of the flower that I had done. You know, I changed my mind after making a couple charms with what I wanted the center to look like. And then once you've got everything in place, I'm using the little silicone end of my tweezers to move everything around where I would like them. You're going to flash cure it while you do any other nails. And then once everything is looking good, they turned out looking so beautiful. They're not complicated to make these charms. They just take a long time. Just a lot of steps. But once you got them moving into place, got them flash cured into place, you can stick them in for a full cure, and it's time for these nails to be done for us to top coat them. The nice part about when you're top coating like nails that you've done matte top coats on for doing isolated chrome is that there's something like magical that happens when you put the top coat on, that it like brings the nails to life, especially ones that have like glitter and things on them. Glitter and, you know, magnet designs and stuff. So you're just gonna top coat everything. I'm using the soft today. Standard would have probably worked as well. First I'm going in with the ones that don't have the big charms because they're a little easier to top coat. You just go a straight top coat situation. Get that cat hair off there. And then for the ones with the charms, flipping them over. And since these are my non-magnetic bases, I got to sort of flash cure them so that they don't self-level towards the edges. But gorgeous. And then when you're working with charms this big, you definitely want to add a lot more to sort of like fill in any gaps so they don't get caught on hair or like sweaters or, you know, whatever. So I start by putting some on top of the charm, and then I do sort of like a slip layer around the rest of the nail. And then I'll go in with extra and like sort of just push it into around where the charm connects so that that will fill in the gaps and make it, you know, less likely for it to get caught on things. And I did make myself a similar set of nails using the charms that I didn't use because I used the, you know, not the gold beads on them, and they have not been getting caught in anything. So I think this technique does work for me. It does make the nails a little bulkier, but it's got a big old charm on there anyway, so better to have a bulkier nail that's not going to get caught in your hair. And then we're just going to do the exact same with the final nail. Cover the top, do a slip layer. And then fill in the gaps. And remove that cat hair that will always be there when you have a long-haired cat. Turn it upside down, self-level towards the center. Give her a flash cure. And then stick the nails in for a full cure. And you are done. So that was the nails I made with the DVOK Cherry Blossom Collection. The collection really lived up to my expectations. I'd been dreaming of getting it for so long. And, sometimes you worry that when you finally get it, it won't be as nice as you hoped. But I'm here to tell you it was just as nice as I thought it would be. So anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. I'll be back soon with a new video. And anyway, let me know what you thought of this collection. And I'll see you next time. I hope you have a great week. Bye.